Thank you guys so much for clicking back onto my channel. Now today we are heavily talking about your waiting season. Yes, you. You have been in a season that you sometimes wonder like, what is going on in my life? I'm working toward this, I'm trying that, I'm crossing out certain people, certain habits, certain beliefs out of my life. Where is my blessing? Where is my breakthrough? Where is my manifestation? Now, one thing about being in your waiting season is that it can't be hurried. That is like the number one thing that so many of us want and wish we could just force it, like, please bring it here now. But sometimes certain things should not be hurried, right? Things need to be brought forth at the proper time. Think in terms of land and farming. It's all about timing. It's not certain seasons for certain fruits. You want an avocado, but it's given cherry season. Okay, like you can't go around that process of waiting, because one thing about waiting is that it's something's being cultivated, but a lot of it is going on underground, or in other words, it's going on within you. So don't ever think that just because you're waiting, or because you're not where you're at right now, or because things are silent, you're talking to God, there's no answer, you're working with the Creator, you're working with the Most High, and you just feel like you're doing everything, but there's no answer. Understand that there's so many wonderful things going on beneath the surface or within you that you may not even be aware of. And that isn't that the most beautiful thing about change, is that it's so subtle. And sometimes we want a big change. It's like, no, I want everything to change tomorrow. But change is usually very subtle and infinitesimal, to where it's not really something that you can quantify until you look back. You sometimes even years later or several months later and be like, wow, my life changed, or I feel differently, I'm moving differently, I'm having different opportunities. So while you're over here trying to hurry something up, greatness cannot be rushed. Right? It cannot be rushed. It takes 30 years to be 30. You can't go around that. And what I want you guys to understand, for the number one thing as to why the manifestation or your waiting period is so important, is because it's preparing you. It's preparing you for that proper season, so that when it comes, your manifestation comes, or whatever this is that you've been really, really working toward, when it comes, that you'll be the person who can continue to carry that and even make it bigger. Because if you think back, I know I said this in one of my recent videos, if things would have worked out when I wanted it to, my life I would have been a lot worse off. And I think that's something that I'm talking about, like, we really need to give more credit to. There's certain things that if they would have worked out, you would have been worse off. What if that relationship would have worked out with that man or with that woman? What if you moved to that certain state, right? Some of you guys could be like, well, damn, I think my life will be better, but you're where you are, right? You don't have the man or the girlfriend. And usually it's because of a very good thing, or a higher order is involved that you're not really understanding yet, hence why you're still in your waiting season, right? So that brings me to point number 2. There's so many things about the waiting season that we just simply don't understand. Not to say that we shouldn't try to understand it or try to figure it out, right? Because I think that's all a part of it. We're thinking during this time because we're like, what the hell is going on? But there's also so much about life that won't make sense until we get past it, until we get through it. And I think that's another part of the waiting season that we I want to say take for granted. Like, I know I did. I know I struggled with being in a certain place or dealing with a certain lesson that I think I've got over, because maybe, I can have a tendency to overestimate how much I've grown sometimes, and think that, oh, I'm past this. But the way life works out, it's like, nah, you're not past this at all, actually, right? We still got to take you through the ringer a little bit. So with that being said, you have to understand the word humility, right? Understanding that there's so many things that you don't know. Yes, you are a divine being. Yes, you are a God-like being, but you're not the creator. No, you're not the God. There's something else that knows way more than you know. And you're always going to get certain inklings and certain nudges toward your greatness or toward what it is that you're trying to bring in, but you won't always know the whole picture. And that would also kind of take the fun out of life, right? So instead of us being so fixated on what we need to know, and I need to know this right now, why isn't it happening for me? I know I got past this lesson. What if you didn't? Like, what if right now you're exactly where you are because This is where you're being saved. This is where you're being worked on, right? You have to have a certain environment in order to work, right? Hence why when they plant seeds and all that stuff, it's in a certain environment with the sun in a certain spot and the soil with certain nutrients. It's very strategic. There's no happenstance as to why certain land is barren, right? It doesn't bear any fruit versus land that is extremely rich and fertile. It's very different. Right? And if you know anything about the way God works or the universe, whatever you call it, you know that usually when things aren't working out, it's because we're planted in a very fertile soil, but it's just our time to wait. So those things that you want, you need to trust that it's coming. Have faith that it's on its way. It is absolutely on its way. And I love this saying. It says, what I want wants me to. And that is a saying that I live by, I stand by. As long as what you want is a part of your purpose, right? So if you're still struggling to figure out your purpose, go check out my video on passion. Yeah, it's something about passion in the title, and that's a really good one to help you decipher what it is that you're really here to do. But if what it is that you want is aligned with your purpose, understand that that wants you too. Why? Because that's what you're most compatible with. When you were put here, when you were thought about, and they said, you know what, this world needs a you. That wasn't something they just threw you out and pumped you out like it was nothing. No, you were here to impact change, no matter if it's on a global scale or just in your home. That's still huge. You don't need to be on a TV broadcasted to have some sense of fulfillment and have some sense of purpose, right? There's so many people who are after stardom or fame or whatever, and that's cool because some people do attain that, and that's fantastic because likely it's part of their purpose. But for some of us, maybe it's not. Maybe we're meant to have an impact on our community, an impact on our families, an impact on our health, breaking generational curses health-wise, mentality-wise, physically, right? So there's so many things that we can look at within ourselves and say, wow, I'm doing fantastic, even if it's not exactly how you thought that you'd be doing. So that's another thing that I feel like we really need to focus on. And I know myself as well, where I kind of get caught up with the thinking of, damn, if I would have done it like this, I would have been so much further along already. Or if that wouldn't have happened, then this could have happened. But by doing that, you kind of disrespect the very unique makeup that is your life, right? It's not like Jenga, like where you take out the little pieces and it's like, oh, you don't want it to tilt and fall. I can't pinpoint and take out little pieces of how my life worked because then I wouldn't be me. Right? It just wouldn't be me. You know how we say like, damn, if he was just like this or had this height and this level of character, or if she was just like this, then it would be amazing. But if that was the case, it wouldn't be that guy or it wouldn't be that girl. So we can't cherry pick the qualities or the characteristics or certain instances of our life that happened that we don't particularly care for and say, like, if it didn't happen, I'd be so much better off, because it's not true. If it didn't happen, you wouldn't be you. If that didn't happen, this wouldn't be your life, right? And again, many of us maybe are not satisfied with our lives and we want better, and that's all fine and dandy. But I know right now, you can absolutely think of a time where you were not as good as you are right now. Right? Whether that's financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially, physically, you've grown educationally in some way, shape, or form. And if you can't name one, you're not trying hard enough. You need to pause this video, get out a piece of paper, or at least sit and think and be like, wait, how have I grown? How have I come along? Because I know that I have. And sometimes when we're in our waiting season, it's not so much that you need to do so much more growing. Sometimes it's not about that. Sometimes it's just simply a mindset shift. Sometimes it's allowing yourself the opportunity and the compassion to say, you know what, I'm good enough now to show up, or I'm good enough now for this opportunity. I'm going to try my luck now. And by doing that, you kind of shift your whole vibration, right? Because we need to be a vibrational match to what it is that we want. Because if you get into like manifestation and the law of attraction, or I think they also call it the law of correspondence, if I'm not mistaken, the things that you want you, but you need to be a vibrational match to it, right? So if you're somebody who's always down on your luck and life is just woe is me, every day you wake up and it's terrible, those people tend to have bad days. But the people who wake up and are full of energy, even if life isn't going so well, but you still have this inner joy to you, and you go out there and then somebody randomly pays for something in the line, in the grocery store line, or you find $1 on the ground, or all the lights are green as you're headed to where you need to go. Those are the little miracles in our life, and those are the little omens that tell us, like, we're on track. Everything is okay. As silly as it may sound, or how insignificant as it may sound, it's not. I look at those, if I get all green lights, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm on my way. Like, this is the universe speaking to me, saying, Alyssa, you are on track. You are doing fantastic. And don't let me see 11-11. Because once I see 11-11, I'm going to bust out in some sort of dance, because that's letting me know that my manifestations and my waiting season is coming to the much needed end that I've been waiting for. So as much as we can knock it, as much as we don't like it, we have to hold integrity to ourselves in the process. Right? We have to understand that there's things that we cannot see. There's things that we don't understand. There's things that we cannot comprehend right now. As smart as we are, as intelligent as we'd like to think we are, but there's always a higher order in place and making sure things run smoothly. And that's something that we need to have a little bit more respect for, and I think a little bit more patience because of. Because once we allow those things to take precedence and say, like, you know what, I need a little patience. I'm in my waiting season. It's not my harvest time yet. It's coming though, because I'm watering myself. I'm nourishing myself. I'm making sure my environment is right. I'm exercising my boundaries. If you need help with that, go check out my video. I'm exercising my boundaries. I'm taking care of myself. No, I don't have perfect days. No, I don't always have the best attitude, but that's okay, because most of me is how I want it to be, or I'm at least working toward that. When you're working towards something and you're constantly trying to make sure that you're bettering yourself, even if it's in the smallest of ways, like even taking a walk for 5 minutes, or instead of entertaining that negative thought that you always think, replace it with something positive. Even if you entertain the positive thought for 20 seconds yesterday, 30 seconds today, then you go back to no positive thoughts, then you go back to a whole minute of positive thoughts. That's still you making progress, because remember, progress is not linear. We're not trying to be perfect. We're just simply trying to be better. And if we keep that in mind, that's something that the universe takes record of. That's something that will always come back to you tenfold. And remember, this is one thing that helped me get through too. And I'm not even like the most religious person, but I remember in the Bible, they say something like double for your trouble, basically. You go through so much, or I think somebody got blessed at 70, 80 years, and he was kind of mad because it's like, damn, like, I didn't get blessed all these years. Now I'm old. But they were like, God has a way of giving you double for your trouble, making up lost time to where you even forgot that you were going through this for so long because of how abundant your life is now. So I don't care whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. I don't care. Age is a non-factor when we're talking about living a fulfilling life, living a purpose-driven life, and living the life that we know that we deserve. Because even if you do feel like time is against you, or you've wasted time, trust and believe that you will get double for your trouble, triple for your trouble. And I can even attest to that. There's some things that I feel like I went a long time without receiving, and then one day it's just like boom. Or not like, it doesn't happen like a boom, but it's just like your life almost does a 180. You're living a very different life, different people, different circumstances than you were before. And if things would have gone the way that you wanted them to, that probably wouldn't have happened. Right? So we have to stop kind of trying to strong arm the universe into doing what it is that we want, because we don't know the whole plan. Give the universe the respect it deserves. Put some respect on its name, right? Like, who the hell are you? As much as you're a creator and we co-create and everything, but you're this big. Like, you're this big. And to think that you know it all when there's something grand, something that put you here, that's a little arrogant, right? So that's why the waiting season is also a lesson in humility. And many of us aren't even humble enough, or I don't know if humble is the word. I think it's part of one of the words I'm trying to describe. But yeah, for lack of better words, I don't know if some of us are humble enough to even realize that we don't know everything. That could also be stopping us too, because you already got all the answers, right? So what do you need me? What do you need me to come through and give you a breakthrough for if you know everything? So always remember that with your waiting season, it's there for a reason. It is absolutely there for a reason. It's purposeful, it's meaningful, and it is necessary. Your bills are paid. or, you know, they about to be, maybe you got to call your uncle or whatever it is you got to do, but go ahead and do it. Your health is in order, or you're trying to get it back. Focus on the things that are flourishing in your life. And the more that you focus on what's flourishing in your life, that is going to be a call, a signal, I promise you, to the universe that, hey, let me give her some more things that she can be grateful for, because she's so grateful. You say, wake up and you say thank you 1,000,000 times. Take a walk. I love going on gratitude walks, especially when I'm not feeling, if I'm not feeling, I wake up, I'm like, oh, hell no, it's about to be one of them days. I literally get up and I go outside and I walk and I say, thank you for the trees. Thank you for my legs. If I have nothing else, I can look around me and just say thank you for those things. And what happens is it shifts how I'm feeling inside. And essentially it shifts how the world responds to me. Then I start having a better day. Just try it yourself. It's not, I know it might sound like kind of woo-woo or out there, but it's really not. Like, you have to really look up the laws of how the universe works and how it responds. If we are energy and we're vibrational beings, and so is the earth, so is the universe, what makes you think that we can't impact that by how we choose to be in terms of our attitude, right? So as long as we're grateful, the universe is going to say, oh, let me give her more to be grateful about. We can't come from a place of scarcity and ask to be blessed abundantly. We can't always think like, damn, I only got 17 cents in my account. Well, my account is negative 200 right now. Like, yeah, it's negative 200, but that's a momentary situation. We're not going to focus on the negative account right now. Like, what do you have in abundance? Has your hair grown back? All right, I know mine did. Like, you know, like, what things can you focus on that you're like, all right, this is a good day. And it might seem silly, but sometimes that silliness, that easiness, that delusion is exactly where we need to be in order to get the manifestation. So get a little bit more delusional when it comes to your life, especially if things all around you are falling apart. I need you to create your own kind of, your own universe within yourself that is positive, that is joyful, that is playful, easygoing, and productive. And you'll start to see that your waiting season won't be as drawn out as it could have been had you been in a more scarce kind of energy. Your waiting season is not meant to last your whole life, right? And if it's lasting way longer than you thought it should, then it could be you, right? That's stopping this whole thing, that's stunting this whole thing. And at that point, what's required is a mindset shift. Sometimes we're in a waiting season because you're being prepared, but other times we're in a waiting season because you just out here prolonging shit, right? Because of your own issues. And that's why we need to be very careful about where we're at, why we're there. Another reason for the waiting season, we have to think. We have time to sit with ourselves and wonder what's really going on within us. So that way we can get on our business and live our purpose and our passions as deeply and as richly as we're supposed to. All right, guys, so that's all I have for you. So if this video resonated at all, let me know down below. What is it that you're being prepared for? What is your waiting season like? How are you feeling right now? Are you rushing it? Are you surrendering to the process? Let me know. I'll be so happy to engage with you guys. And if you enjoy the content on this channel, please subscribe. My channel's itty bitty, but we're going to grow real big because we have a lot of impact and you guys are a part of my purpose too. So thank you guys so much for subscribing, and I'll talk to you soon.